Warning. This is a series where an amateur racer makes his way to professional. There will be crashes, there will be disasters, there will be many spinellas. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, this is awkward, isn't it? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel and some more F1 2020 My Team. We are heading on into the Chinese Grand Prix, and you may be asking, why is the face cam on the bottom right of my screen talking differently than the voiceover happening right now? Well, sadly, the footage recorded only in-game audio and did not record my voice, so for this video and probably the next two, you'll be hearing the post-edit commentary from myself, just like my other video series, the Football Manager Project Manchester series. So I apologize for this mistake. I'll try to fix it immediately, and for the future videos after the next 2 or 3 videos, I will be live commentating while recording the game, so hopefully you can enjoy this video with my post edit commentary. So I've made some updates and upgrades on my car. Some upgrades came, like the power unit upgrade, and we have an invitational event with the Red Bull RB6 car, I believe. So we are heading into that right now.
Hello again, and thank you for joining us today for one of the few events this year that won't have a critical impact on the World Championship. So maybe we can all relax just a little bit more and enjoy the action from this wonderful field of historic cars.
So Red Bull offered us an invitational event for some money and acclaim, so I accepted the offer and I gave it a shot. Driving the Red Bull RB6 vehicle, which is extremely fast and also very easy to handle. I was surprised by how well this vehicle handled around this track, and of course we're at the Dutch Grand Prix circuit, the Zandvoort circuit. The objective of this invitational event was to pass through these gates within the time limit, so it was like a time trial event. I wasn't really used to, I've never driven on Zandvoort circuit before, so I was really not used to the track. So I binned the car once here, used my flashback so that Red Bull isn't angry at me for binning their car, and I continue on this journey of trying to get the maximum, or rather the expected result for my full compensation. So hitting these checkpoints, I'm just trying to handle the car a little better. It's so different than our car because our car is pretty trash right now, but this car is really speedy, really easy to handle. Has a lot of grip too, and the acceleration is very good. The brakes work very well as well, so that caught me off guard, and that's why you see me struggling here for a couple times. Nearly binned the car right there as well as I hit the gravel trap, but found my way back on course and got control of the vehicle. So coming up to 30 seconds remaining, but I'm setting some good lap times according to the computer. Hit another checkpoint, and I noticed that the times given for each checkpoint gate is shrinking. Now we're down to 12 seconds. Nearly exceed the track limits there, causing me to lose time, but we hit 10 seconds or more here at the next checkpoint, and I keep going. And really all I was doing was concentrating and trying to make sure that I don't hit the low par, to be honest. Yeah, about 30 seconds left, and this was also a good opportunity for me to get to know the Zandvoort circuit, because it is in the F1 2020 calendar, so it is going to be a racetrack. We'll be racing later on with our own vehicle. Hopefully by that time our car will have some more upgrades and will be easier to handle, maybe more powerful as well, as we focus on our power unit upgrades. But definitely not going to be at the level of the RB6 car. Of course, the RB6 was a old classic vehicle that won many races in the past, I believe. I'm not sure about that too much, but you can fact check that on the internet. And here we are towards the final moments of the race. I believe I have completed the task. Our target distance was 7.8 kilometers, but we've gone approximately 9 kilometers, coming up to 9 kilometers now, as you see on the top right. Almost closing in on time limit, and we just about hit the checkpoint, but we missed it. So event is over. We passed it successfully, and we receive $150,000, and we also get 1,000 acclaim to the team. Total distance traveled is 9.37 kilometers, and that was well above the goal of the event. So we're back at HQ looking through our upgrades. The chassis department is busy with their upgrade. The power unit just got their upgrade as well, so they're free to, get an upgrade or work on an upgrade. So I'm trying to weigh my options here. There are some minor upgrades with the powertrain department. Also, the aero department has a couple minor upgrades alongside a major upgrade that we don't have the resource points for. So I decide on the pistons upgrade to get us closer to some more possible upgrades in the near future. It's a minor upgrade that seemed to have the biggest impact on the performance of our car, so I decided on that. And we also see a durability, there we go, upgrade. It fails, and we decide to restart it, but after our practice session for the Chinese Grand Prix, because we don't have enough resource points. So heading into the first practice session, we noticed that qualifying will be pretty dry, but the race itself will be pretty wet, with the possibility of dry weather coming on later, maybe towards the end of the race. I checked the status of our gearboxes. They look pretty jaded, so I decided to order a new practice gearbox that we can probably use.
Mate, we've got a sensor issue, and we're going to be stuck here for a while as we fix it.
And yeah, we have a sensor issue that we work with, but this is our setup for now. Aerodynamics 3/6 wings. This was again recommended to us by a website, and I thought it was pretty good. 60% and 65% for transmission, -2.7, -1.2, 0.08, and 0.32 for suspension geometry. Suspension is the following: 2, 6, 5, 8, 2, 3, and then 95% and 54% on brakes. Tire pressures are 22.2 psi in the front, 20.7 psi in the back.
Ourselves of our top three, who are the rookie Bottas and Lewis
So we
Hamilton.
do pretty well in our first practice session, hitting top of the group, and after that I decide to, simulate it. We had some rain in practice 3, and that brought us down to P3 in practice 3. So we are setting some good times, so I decide to bump up the difficulty for the race itself and qualifying. We get some valuable resource points that make it possible for us to restart the failed upgrade. We are now into Acclaim level 5, meaning we can finally sign a second sponsor for our car. So we restart the gearbox durability upgrade. It's important for our gearbox condition for later on in the race. So qualifying itself was pretty dry. Yeah, so I went out on soft compound tires, gave it my first dry run to see where I would be at the end of the day, and we hit P1 with the fastest lap of the qualifying session. We decide to give it one more shot in Q1, and we trail right behind Sainz, try to get some of his slipstream too. Yes, of course, get another fastest lap of Q1, and we finish qualifying 1 at P1. Again, I'm thinking this might be too easy to play. Maybe the difficulty is too low. Mick Schumacher, our teammate, also just about scrapes his way into Q2 by placing 16th. Now, our power unit is looking very, very roughed up. I'm worried that I'm not going to complete this Grand Prix, but qualifying 2 says otherwise, as we hit another fastest lap and get P1 to qualify for Q3. I just gave it one shot and that was it, because I didn't want to wear out more tires for the Grand Prix itself. So we get a new set of softs, but we decide on the medium compound tire because I don't think we're going to use them for the race itself since it's raining. And I give it my shot to land P4. So I decide to give it one last run to see if we can edge a little higher on the grid. And what do we get? P4. So we are going to be starting at P4 on the grid, just behind Bottas, Verstappen and Hamilton. So I decided to bump it up. I was on 40 difficulty, but we're bumping it up to 50, medium 50. So I think that's about halfway through the difficulty levels. I think the maximum difficulty is 110. So we're just under the halfway mark.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. The ever-tightening turns 1 and 2 will prove tricky in the slippery conditions here at Shanghai, and anyone that slides wide will lose a lot of time getting back on track. Turn 14 should still be the best place for overtaking, but we'll have to see some improvement in the weather before the drivers can take advantage of that DRS assistance. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today? And how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, the rookie, Charles Leclerc and Vettel, Albon, Perez, Stroll and Lando Norris, Kvyat, Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo and Sainz, Schumacher, Magnussen, Kimi Raikkonen and Pierre Gasly, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Russell and Nicholas Latifi.
So here we are in the Chinese Grand Prix, the race itself on race day. The strategy we're going for is a no-stop strategy with intermediates only, and I'm going to request a pit stop later on when the track clears and starts to dry. So here we go, start of the race. Good start against Bottas, Verstappen and Hamilton as I overtake Hamilton for P3 here, going on the inside for turn 1. Just about scraping past Hamilton, and I'm kind of worried here because the track is getting slippery. Get a collision warning for a collision against Hamilton, and I take a sharp turn there and take P1 from Verstappen and Bottas, and I take the lead in the Grand Prix as we head on beyond the first couple turns into the fast straight, and coming up to the next turn here, taking it nice and easy, just focusing on not bending the car or damaging my front wing with stupid mistakes. Remember, again, I'm allowed 5 flashbacks in this race. That's the deal I made a while back in a previous episode, so we are going to keep that up despite the hugely wet condition, like really bad wet conditions, but we're gonna keep it going that way. So far so good, making nice turns, green lines all around, nearly binned the car with a rear grip loss, but we managed to stay on, and we make our final turns here towards the start-finish straight. About 3/4 of the race is over, or the race around the first lap of the track. Verstappen's time is looking very, very tight. He's about to overtake me on the right. It's a game of chicken here as we enter the braking zone, and Verstappen brakes earlier than I do, and I take the lead back, taking it nice and easy around that hairpin corner and coming up to the start-finish line. again, trying to make sure I maintain my lead and also keep defending against Verstappen, who was hot on my tail. Fastest lap of the race, of course, because I'm first one across the line, and off we go into the second lap. Again, just managing my tires, managing my speed, and trying to, you know, not ping myself beyond the limits of the track to get another warning or perhaps a penalty. Also trying to make sure I don't bend the car, but then again, there's that issue where I hit the wing using my second flashback allowed during the session. Now, flashing back, I'm about 1 second ahead of Verstappen, just 1.5 seconds beyond Bottas, but they are closing in quickly. Can't get much speed, but I have the fastest sector 1 so far, trying to push my car to the limit and really trying to maintain this lead and extend our lead against Verstappen and Bottas. Nice and easy turnaround here. The rain does not seem to be stopping anytime soon, so I'm just trying to make sure my tires don't wear out before the end of the race. Just overall, it was a smooth run. I was mainly sweating from trying to concentrate and not to bend the car, as I always say, and I always do. In previous episodes I've bent the car numerous times and had to use the flashback, and I was just trying to make sure that since everyone is going relatively slowly in this rainy race, I decided to make sure everything is safely done in this race. So using a little bit of ERS and overtake, well, that's overtake, and rich fuel mixture, came up to this hairpin turn again, managed to do that safely as well. And this is when I started to realize, yeah, I'm getting better at this game, and I finally realized that the difficulty might be a little too easy, but I may be speaking too early. Another fastest lap in lap 2. It doesn't seem like Verstappen nor Bottas are edging closer to my lap time, and then I got a little too excited and used the flashback as I took that turn way too wide and found myself on the grass. So I rewind using my third flashback for this session and managed to take this turn nicely.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
So it seems that our power unit durability issues are coming to bite us as the ICE, the combustion engine component of our power unit, struggles. There's a bit of wear, meaning that I'm not going to have as much acceleration in the power unit, so I'm starting to get worried because we know Verstappen and Bottas are in possibly the fastest cars on the grid, so they could easily overtake us at any moment. As you can see, the deltas of Verstappen and Bottas are slimming down. They are coming down to almost 1 second, but I'm trying to make sure that I take the turns nice and slowly and then accelerate as much as I can on the straights to give myself some distance from Verstappen. Coming up to the final moments of lap 3, the delta is constantly shrinking. It's 0.6-ish with Verstappen. The start-finish straight is also coming up, so I'm worried that I'm going to get overtaken there. Thankfully, right now what's defending our lead, or helping us defend our lead, is the lack of DRS because of the rain. And yeah, all I'm doing right now is concentrating on the drive.
The track is drying, but it's going to take a while to clear the standing water off the line. Don't start thinking about slicks just yet.
So Jeff is recommending slicks, but or rather he's thinking about slicks, but no, that is not important as we bend the car on that turn of lap 4. So I used my 4th rewind, I think that is, to rewind time and yeah, I binned the car again. So that is my final flashback that I think I'll use. We can reuse flashbacks if we are at the same spot, so I nicely make that turn after that. And you can see in the sky there's a bit of blue sky coming through, like peeking through the clouds. So the dry tire sessions is around the corner, maybe 5 laps away. So I'm trying to manage this lead so that I can dip into the pit lane as soon as possible. Another fastest lap in lap 4 or 5 was it? And we come up to the end of lap 6 and we hit another fastest lap. It seems that other drivers cannot compete with us. Nearly binned the car there, but of course I used up all my fast flashbacks.
Driver of the day.
And Verstappen whizzes past with Bottas just behind him, and we firm it. We have to firm it since we don't have flashbacks available to us. Just don't, you know, sometimes I just got so frustrated, so I used the flashback. Don't worry about it. I let myself have that one because I got so frustrated from my mistake earlier. So that is going to be the 5-star flashback. Hopefully I don't use another one. We'll never know. You'll never know. But anyway, DRS is enabled around lap 8. That means dry tire compounds are available to be used. But instead of coming in now, because I kind of didn't know how to change strategy, I was struggling with accepting Jeff's strategy change, and that's when Vettel just whizzes by, and then it doesn't, I think it might be my fault or it's his fault, not enough racing space and we collide, and then I retain the lead here. He tries to spin me out and I'm trying to manage my tires, and I couldn't go into the pits because Vettel just blocked it off. So I decided to stay on another lap with the worn intermediate tires. That's when Leclerc goes around the outside and takes the inside line. I don't know how to say that exactly, and he causes a collision. So that was not my fault, so I think a flashback is allowed, and Leclerc yeah, just hits me and puts me out of the race. But thanks to a flashback, we let Leclerc through because it seems like he wants to, you know, take the lead from us. So we trail right behind him and we are immediately back within attacking range of Leclerc. Of course, maybe that is payback for episode 2 of the series, where we collided with Leclerc and made him trigger the safety car and all that stuff. Kevin Magnussen is out of the race, and now VSC is out.
Car deployed, slow down and maintain a positive delta. Virtual safety car is deployed.
So, we gotta slow down, and there we are, just behind Leclerc, trying to maintain our delta as best as we can, but it seems like we're just behind Leclerc. A new strategy is available. VSC is ideal for a tire change, or pit stop rather, but VSC is ending soon, and now we're green lights and DRS is re-enabled. Here's me again trying to struggle my way into accepting this new strategy option from Jeff. Didn't know how to do it until I realized it was the right arrow on the arrow keys on the gamepad, but I didn't know that until then, and I was struggling so much that I binned the car. So flashback is available for this because I binned the car because of a controller issue. A little bit of lag on my screen caused the next crash, so I decided to rewind it again from the same spot. Still struggling here with the new strategy option and trying to accept it, but I'm, you know, doing all right with the race itself, trying to concentrate on the road. And here we are, finally accepting the strategy and going into the pit lane for soft compound tires because we are about to enter lap 10, and Jeff was offering me mediums, which is not ideal because medium compound tires will be slower, approximately 1.2 seconds slower I think it was in this game. I kind of forgot what the exact delta was, but soft compound tires are better, so I decide to pit for the used soft compound tires from qualifying. So here we are, just behind Leclerc again, and Lance Stroll and Perez are battling it out behind us. Stroll goes in for dry compound tires, and I'm right behind Leclerc. Verstappen gets fastest lap, and then Perez out of nowhere tries to attack us, but the game of chicken comes to our favor until he just decides to cut us in, and I give him a little shove to notify him that he is kind of bothering us and being a nuisance. Coming up to the final corner of lap 10, we overtake Perez and we enter P7. So again, Perez being a nuisance, and we nearly corner cut. I think that would be counted as a corner cut, but we don't get the warning for it, and we overtake Perez. Coming up to the final turn of lap 11, and we maintain P7. The sun's broken through now on lap 13, and we're coming up again to see if we can extend our lead against Perez and Norris, considering it's our final lap of the Grand Prix and we want to at least maintain a P7 finish.
Final lap of the race.
So, a small mistake sees us hit the gravel trap. Perez bumps into us and he loses his wing, end plate of the wing, and overtakes us. We give him a little shove to notify him that he is just, being a jerk with his steering. Lando Norris is just behind us as well, and Perez is ahead. We are closing in on Perez with a dive bomb around this turn, but Perez accelerates nicely out of the next turn, and we have a collision with Perez as he hits us. Lando Norris tries to overtake us, but we take it nice and easy in the middle, and Lando Norris gets taken out.
Two birds with the one stone. Two birds, one stone.
So if you saw clearly there, me taking out Lando Norris without a warning by the looks of it, took out Lance Stroll, or Perez actually. Yes, Lando Norris got spun out, took out Perez at the same time, and that gave me clear air for P7, and Kvyat is now in P8 trying to overtake us here, but we win the game of chicken as we brake later in the braking zone and get a nice turn and exit out of that hairpin turn. And as we come around the final corner of the Grand Prix, we get our long fought P7.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So well done, Max Verstappen, Bottas and Hamilton just behind him in P2 and P3. We have P7 for the race, and Pierre Gasly wins driver of the day. So we don't get podium, of course, because we bumped up the difficulty, and we don't expect to get podium. Our small mistakes really cost us the race, as Verstappen and Bottas overtook us with that small mistake during the rainy part of the race. Mick Schumacher in P12, us in P7, Lance Stroll and Perez are actually way beyond down the grid. Our rivalry with Grosjean ends with a +4, which brings us up to 12 points out of 30. So we are building up a significant lead there. Our acclaim is up to 4, Big Schumacher's in 5, and our total acclaim has now hit level 6. So that's good to see. 120k from our sponsor, and of course, being level 6 acclaim as a team, we are ready for another sponsor. Our durability upgrade is now successfully completed. I cannot say durability today for some reason, but here we go. Looking for another sponsor, and we find ourselves Veering towards pay night, the company is offering us 138k per week alongside 174.8k gold bonus, which is achieve a top 12 finish during the race. So pay night will be our sponsor, considering we got P7 in the last race. P12 or above will be easy to achieve at some point later on in the season, so I'm sure we can at least strive for a P12 finish. We bring them onto our livery, as you can see here. Shark, Getränke Übertragung or something like that is our second sponsor, and then Pay Night is on the nose part-ish of the car, and then also on our halo, which I will zoom into in a bit here. Yep, Pay Night is on our halo as well. So new sponsor, more money. Now, before we forget, we also switched some components of our power unit here, bringing on fresh components, all level 2, and hopefully we'll make some durability upgrades so that we don't have to change these parts as often as we do now. So next up, we will be at Zandvoort, which we, in this episode, had the practice run with the RB6, so hopefully I'll be set for that race. Once again, we'll come to the end of the episode, and I'm sorry that you have to hear me ramble on in the post-edit commentary. Hope you guys still enjoyed the video, like the other videos with my live commentary. Please follow me on my socials that you see on the screen, and also subscribe, like the video, and ring the notification bell down below so that you're notified when I upload next. So until the Dutch Grand Prix, I hope you guys are well, and I'll see you then.
Hello.